Till now we have completed our creation payment API, right? This API was able to create a payment for us. Now we'll write few more APIs, right? We are going to write few more APIs. The next API that we are going to write is going to help us. This API will help us to get the payment details as well as the details of the booking associated with it. Booking associated with it. Right. So let's talk about the route. Let's talk about the route. So the route of the API will look something like this. The route will look something like this. /MBA /API /v1 /payments and :ID. Right. This ID that we are having is going to be the unique payment ID. Right. This is going to be the unique payment ID using which we are going to actually fetch the information of the payment. Okay. Now the type of the request, is of course going to be a GET request. We have done this thing multiple times, so this is going to be a GET request. Okay. Now the request body is going to be empty. We don't need any request body because based on this payment only we are going to fetch all of the details. In the response body, we are going to have a success parameter that is going to determine whether the API successfully completed itself or not. There will be an error parameter which will be empty in case there was no error, otherwise it will be having the error details. We'll be having a data property. This data property is actually going to be an empty object if there was some error. Otherwise, this data property is going to have the details of the payment made as well as the details of the booking that was made. And we are going to have a custom messaging based on the user, like based on the situation of the API, whether the API successfully completed itself or not. Based on that, we are going to have custom messaging. So these are the details of the API that we have to build, and let's just try to quickly just build it up. So before we actually start building that API, we also have to test this create payment request. Let's just test it up, make a commit, and then maybe we can start building up the next API. So first of all, let's just quickly log in. Okay, we have logged in. Let's copy. Cool. So we have made the login, right? Now, first of all, what we have to do, we have to first of all try to create the booking, right? If you go to booking, because based on the booking only we'll be able to make the payment. So let's create the booking for a movie and a theater. So /bookings, right? We are going to put a theater ID, a movie ID, to put timing, and let's say number of seats. We are going to put this 5, right? And user ID we are going to automatically take it up. So if we send it, okay, let's take a movie which is available in the theater. Let's take this movie ID, send it. Okay, so now we have a booking created and the status is in process, right? You can even go in the bookings and you can check the status, right? So the status is in process. Now let's just take this booking ID, right? This booking ID we are going to take, and we are going to create a payment. Okay, so let's put booking ID as this, and in the payments model we're going to take the booking ID, right? We are going to take the amount. So let's see, for the timing, let's just send the amount as, let's say 700, right? Because if we go to booking, right, we have a total cost associated here, right? So cool. And let's see, let's send the request. Okay, it says no theater ID provided. Okay, this should be /payments. Let's send the request. Okay, it says no booking found. Let's copy paste again. Interesting, it says no booking found. Let's see, if we go to payment service, okay, we have a mistake here. There should be booking ID. Now send it. Okay, so technically we should have updated our booking details to successful. If we refresh our booking, now the booking is successful. And if we go to payments and refresh, okay, so the payment status is still pending. We should update our payment status as well. So okay, we are not saving the payment, so await payment.save. I believe this should work. Okay, so this will help us to update the payment as well, right? Now we need to just check one thing, that the payment that we have made and the booking amount that we are having is same, because if you will see the booking model, in the booking model we are having a total cost, right? This total cost should be matched with the amount, right? So let's make this total cost as a required parameter, right? And now let's make a booking again, /bookings. Okay, theater ID, movie ID, timing, number of seats, price. Okay, send. Okay, this should be total cost. Okay, so now we have a booking, and now before we make a payment, let's make a quick change to the payment service. If the payment amount is not equal to booking.total cost, then payment status will be failed. Okay, so now let's try to make a payment /payments, and let's get the new booking. It's in process, so we'll say booking ID, and let's say the amount this time we send as 600. Okay, if you send it, okay, the booking status is cancelled, right? We can try to repay. If you send 700, right, if you will check, see, booking status is currently cancelled, and payments you will see pending state. If now you send it again, now the booking state is successful and the payment should be successful as well. You can see we have made a new payment. Previous payment was in pending, right? So let's even do one thing. Let's even save the payment here so that we can save the payment. Cool. So our create payment is working. Let's just quickly commit this. Okay, now let's just quickly create the get payment. So let's go to payment services, and here we are going to say const get payment by ID. This should be an asynchronous function. It will take the payment ID. We'll say try catch. We'll say const response is equals to await payment dot find by ID. Now, if you will just do payment dot find by ID, it is only going to show the details of the payment. If you want to also populate the details of the bookings, right, we need to say dot populate booking. Okay, and we are going to say if not response, like if you are not able to find any payment for the corresponding ID, we are going to throw error as no payment record found 404. Otherwise we are going to return the response. Cool. Now let's just export this get payment by ID, and instead of saying 404 here, just let's just say status dot not found. Now if you go to payment controller, let's write a new function, const get payment details by ID. This should be an asynchronous function which will get the access to the request object and the response object. If we are having a custom error from the service layer, we are going to say error response body dot error is equals to error dot error. This is the custom error, and we will also get the response code. We'll say this dot status error dot code dot JSON. Okay. Otherwise, if there is no custom error, we are going to just set error response body dot error is equals to error, and we are going to just return rest dot status dot internal server error dot JSON error response body, right? And let's try to get for success. So we'll say const response is equals to await payment service dot get payment by ID, and the ID we are going to get is in the URL param. So we'll say request dot params dot ID. We will say success response body dot data is response, success response body dot message is equals to successfully fetched the booking and payment details. Okay, so having this success response message, now we can just say return rest dot status dot OK dot JSON success response body, right? This will complete the controller part, and now what we can do, we can say get payment details by ID. We're going to export it. We'll go to the routes. We'll register a new route, app.get /mba/api/v1/payments/:ID. We need to be authenticated in order to access it. And then payment controller dot get payments details by ID. This should be get payment details by ID. Okay, cool. So now we have a get request. Now let's just do one thing. Let's just refresh our payments. Let's use this payment and let's try to get the payment details. We don't need to send anything in the body. Let's send it. Okay, it says something went wrong. I believe this should be this must be happening because of this. I believe this should be bookings. Let's see what the error we are getting. It says strict populate error. I believe in the schema, let's take this booking with a capital B, I believe. Interesting. Let's see the payment schema. Oh, my bad. This should be ref. This should have been ref. Okay. Let's send it again. Okay, now we need to create a new payment, I guess. Let's do one thing. Let's create a booking again. Slash bookings. Okay. Now with the booking ID. Oh, my bad. This should be a post request. Let's get the booking ID and create a payment. Slash payments. Send it. Payment is successful. We got a new payment, and now let's try to get it. Let's send it. I believe we need to restart the server also once. We made a mistake here. We should have done ref. And here also we are making mistake. Technically this should be ref theater and ref movie. Right, we made few mistakes here. Just like this ref is here. Let's try again. Cool, let's try again. So let's make a booking slash bookings. With this new booking, let's set the amount. And let's make a request to payments. Let's send it. Okay, so now we have again a new payment successful. Now let's try to get the payment. Sorry, let's take it from here. Send it. Okay, it's still not working. So we have booking. Let's see what do we have on Google for this error. Hmm. Uh, let's see. I believe we need to do something like this. Path as booking, and we need to pass options as strict populate as false. Let's try with this now. We're still not getting it. For the timing, let's do one thing. Let's, for the debugging purpose, let's try to even like remove populate altogether. Let's see what do we get. And also let's check in the controller. We are having a bit. Yes. Let's send it. Okay, now we are getting the payment details. That is working. Let's see. We're having a booking ID. Let's do one thing. Let's remove the whole model altogether. Let's drop the collection. And let's make a new one. Maybe it is not able to replicate the properties. Okay, let's make another one. Post request slash bookings. Send, we have a booking. Let's take the booking ID and make payment. Slash payments. Okay. Let's send it. Okay, payment is successful. Now let's do one thing. Let's go to services. And now let's do dot populate booking. Let's get a payment. This is our payment. We'll make a get request. Still not getting it. Let's see what is wrong with it. Okay, so I figured out the issue. So the problem is in the booking model, sorry, in the payment model, we have the name as booking ID. We have the name of the property as booking ID. It is referring to the booking collection. So for that, here also we have to do, when we populate, we have to mention the name of the field. So that is booking ID. If we will do this, and now if we send it, now you can see we are also getting the booking details, right? So the better way to handle is, let's keep it booking and let's change in the schema. Let's make change in the schema. So payment model, this should be booking, right? If you will now try, currently because we are having booking ID property, it is not going to work exactly. So let's do one thing. Let's delete payment, drop collection payments. Okay, and let's create a new payment. Post request. So this should be booking. Now let's send it. We need to make changes here as well. Let's send it like booking ID only. We'll be sending like booking ID only. And if you send, it says invalid booking status. Let's check. We are going to get the booking. Let's try to do console.log booking. Are we getting the booking here? Okay, we are getting the details of the booking. That should be fine. And now it says invalid booking status. Okay, so why we are having that? Because in the booking model we are only having 3 status. Let's add the 4th status also, that is booking status dot expired, right? That's the case. That's why it was not able to set. Now technically if we will send it, the payment took more than 5 seconds, so now we need to create another booking. Let's create bookings, send it. We have a booking now. Let's take this booking and make a payment. Send it. This should be payments. Okay, now let's go to payment services. It says path booking is required, so I believe this should be booking. Now let's send it. Okay, so now we have successfully made the booking with the payment, right? And if you refresh, we have payments. Let's get the details of this payments. Send it. It should be a get request, no request body needed, and send it. And now you can see we are also getting the bookings. One very small check that we should make is, if the booking status is already successful, we should not do any payment or something. So if booking.status is already equal to booking status dot successful, we can say, we'll throw an error, booking already done, cannot make a new payment against it. Okay, and let's see what error code we should have. Let's send 403 forbidden. Status dot forbidden. So this will also handle our case. So let's just quickly commit everything. Added API for getting payment details based on ID. Okay, so we have successfully pushed the code as well. So I hope the overall logic on how we actually fetch the payment is clear to everyone. We were just making a small mistake inside our service. We should say it as booking if and only if in the payment model we have the property name also as booking, right? I was referring to reference. So in the next upcoming set of parts, we are also going to fetch all the payments that a user has made. And if the user is an admin user, then they should be able to get all the payments made on the platform. Now we want to write one more API that is going to help us to get all the payment details, right? If the user is an admin, then he or she should be able to get all the payment made in the whole platform. But if the user is not an admin, then the user should be only be able to get their own payments, right? So let's just see. So we are going to write an API to fetch all the payments made by a user, right? If the user is an admin, they should be able to see all the other users payment as well, right? This is going to be the case. So let's just see that what can be the signature of the API that we have to build. So if we talk about the route can be something like /mba /API /v1 slash payments /all, right? We'll be able to get all of the payments. The type of the request, this is going to be a get request. The request body is going to be empty. The response body is going to have one success parameter, error parameter, data parameter, and message parameter. The success parameter is going to tell us whether the API was successfully completed or not. The error parameter is going to tell us whether there was any error that encountered or not. The data parameter is going to store the actual data that is returned by the API. And the message parameter is a custom messaging parameter based on the fact that whether the API successfully completed itself or not. This messaging parameter is going to have custom data. The API needs to be auth protected, right? That is, a user who has successfully logged in, only they should be able to use this API, right? So without any further delay, let's just start writing the implementation of this. Let's close all of the files. What we can do, we can go to payment service.js, and here we can write a function const get all payments. This should be an asynchronous function, right? And we are going to pass user ID. Okay. Now let's wrap it inside a bunch of try catch. We'll throw the error. We'll say, first of all, let's just try to get the user. So const user is equals to await user dot find by ID, and we'll pass the user ID. We'll check if there is no such user, although this case won't happen because we are going to pass the request dot user object that is going to be after authentication only, so we can just skip that part. Now what we can say is that let's prepare a filter object. Right. And inside this filter object, we are going to actually store the data. So we can say if user dot user role, let's see the model. So we have a property user role is not equal to user role dot admin. Then we are going to say filter of I would say user ID is equals to user dot ID. Okay. Till now, we have set up a mechanism so that user can create a booking, right? So we are having a user and the user can create a booking. It's like they will be able to, from the UI, they'll be able to choose some seats and set up a booking. Now, initially this booking is in waiting state or pending state, you can say. In order to confirm the booking, the user has to make a payment. Once the booking is created, we are going to send this booking details to the UI, and from the UI we are going to initiate a payment. So from here the user has to initiate a payment. If the payment is successful, then we convert this pending state to success. Otherwise, if the payment is not successful, then we are going to convert this pending state to failed, right? And based on this state only, our booking is going to be confirmed. We have to make sure that once we make the booking, within 5 minutes, the user has to create a payment, right? We are not going to integrate any payment gateway. We are going to just mimic it through a model. We are going to assume that the payment gateway is also going to give us a response based on success or failure, right? So if we get a success for the payment, then we are going to make the booking success. Otherwise, we are going to make the booking failed if the payment is not successful. So we are just going to mimic this through a simple model, right? So we have to start talking about that. So we already created a payment model and we have to create APIs corresponding to the payment model, right? So the first API that we are going to create is going to be creation of payment. Like we are going to create payment. So the route of the API is going to look something like this: /MBA /API /v1 /payments. The type of the request is going to be post request, right? This will help us to create a new payment, right? Okay. Now the request body is going to have all the details of the payment. So if you take a look at the payment model, let's go to models, payment model. So here we are having the booking ID, here we are having the amount, status, right? We are having three major parameters: booking ID, amount, and status. So we are going to send this booking ID, right? Payment amount, right? We're going to send these two things in the payment. And then if we are able to successfully create it, then we are going to make a status. Then we are going to update the status of the payment as success. So we are not going to send the status of the payment. Instead, payment status will be later updated if the payment went through correctly, right? As a response, we are going to get a success parameter that is going to determine whether the API successfully completed itself or not, right? We are going to have a error parameter, which will be an empty object if there was no error, but if there was some error, then it will be having the error details. We are going to have a data parameter, which will be an empty object if there was some error that encountered during the execution of the API. Otherwise, this data parameter is going to have the response data and a message. This message is going to be a custom messaging property based on the fact that whether our API went successfully through or not, we are going to update this messaging. So these are the details, right? These are the details. So let's see, we are going to start writing logic for creation of a payment. Let's close all of this. Let's go to services and let's make a new payment.service.js. Okay, we are going to get the payment model. From the models, we are going to get the payment model. Okay, we'll say module.exports. Now we are going to say const create payment. It will be an asynchronous object and it will be having our data property, right? In the create payment, we are going to get the booking ID and the amount. Based on the fact that whether we are able to create the payment or not, we are going to update the status of the payment. And if the status of the payment is let's say success, and this happened within 5 minutes of the booking, then we are going to update the booking as well. Otherwise, we are going to say that the payment was not successful. So first of all, let's bind it inside a try catch. We are going to get the booking from the booking ID. So we'll say const booking is equals to let's get the booking model as well. Slash model slash booking dot model. Okay, and we are going to say await booking dot find by ID. Okay, and we are going to pass data dot booking ID. So this is going to help us to get the corresponding booking, right? If we don't find a booking, then we are going to throw an error. No booking found. Status dot not found. Okay, but let's say if we are able to find the booking, right? We are going to get the booking time is equals to booking dot created at. Okay, and we are going to get the current time date dot now. Okay, we are going to get the current time. So we'll calculate how many minutes have passed. Calculate how many minutes are remaining. How can we do that? We can say let minutes is equals to math.floor of. We'll subtract current time with the booking time, right? This time is in millisecond. We are going to convert that into first of all seconds and then in minutes. So in order to convert millisecond to second, we'll divide it by 1000, and once we have got it in seconds, we will divide it by 60 as well. Okay, cool. So we got minutes. We'll say that if minutes is greater than 5, That is, more than 5 minutes have passed, we are not going to create a payment. We are going to say booking dot status is equals to, let's get booking status. We're going to say booking status dot cancelled, right? Or let's do one thing, let's make another booking status as expired. Okay, we'll say booking status expired. We are going to save the booking, right? And let's say we are going to return booking. Okay, we are going to return booking. Otherwise, if the time is still left, we are going to create a payment. So we can say const payment is equals to await payment dot create. Okay, we are going to pass booking id as data dot booking id, and amount, I guess there is an amount parameter. Yes, we have an amount parameter. As data dot amount. Okay, this is going to create the payment. This is going to create the payment. Now we have to just check that if we are not able to successfully get this payment object created, because this is like something like I'm creating a payment object, but technically when you will integrate a payment gateway or something, this will be an API call which will help us to get the payment, right? That is something that we might be doing. So we will say that if due to any issue we are not able to create payment, let's say if not payment, right? In that case, we are going to say again booking dot status is equals to booking status, this time we'll say cancelled, right? And we are going to save booking dot save, and we're going to return booking. Okay, and we'll do this one more thing. If we don't get payment, or payment dot status is payment status dot let's get payment status, and in the payment status we have failed. If due to any reason our payment failed, then also our booking is going to get cancelled, right? Otherwise, we are going to say payment dot status is equals to payment status dot success, right? This is something that I'm hard coding here. Just make sure you know the fact that all of these things are going to be handled by the payment gateway. This is going to be dependent on the fact that whether the user was able to make the payment or not. I'm like going to hard code this, that whatever user we have, we are going to make their payment as successful, right? Just to mimic this thing. Once we have made the payment successful, we are going to say booking dot status is equals to booking status dot successful, and we are going to do booking dot save, and we are going to return booking. Okay, so we are going to have all of this logic together, and we are going to export create payment, right? Cool. Now technically we should be able to call this create payment method through an API. So we are going to write a controller for it. So let's make a new file, payment dot controller.js. We'll get the payment service, payment.service. We'll do module.exports. We'll say const create is equals to await. It will get access to the HTTP request object, HTTP response object, and the okay, just this much. Just a second. The request object, response object. Right. I'm making a mistake. Okay. Let's bind it inside a bunch of try catch. Okay, let's see why we have an error here. It's expecting a semicolon somewhere. Oh, this should be async, not await. This should be async. Okay. Cool. Now we're going to say const response is equals to await payment service dot create payment. We are going to pass request dot body. Okay. We will say that if response, which will be the booking, right, dot status is equals to booking status dot failed, or let's say expired. So we are going to say error response body dot error is equals to the payment took more than 5 minutes to get processed, hence your booking got expired. Please try again. Okay, and we are going to say error response body dot this should go in the message, I believe. Or let's keep it like this, and in the data we are going to say response. Okay, let's check what should be the correct MDN code, like HTTP code to put here. There is a HTTP code 498, that's for invalid token, and 410 we can do as it's a gone request. So or let's say let's search for payment expired. Cool. I guess we should go for 410. So let's go to constants, and in the status codes let's add gone as 410. We'll say return rest dot status dot gone dot json error response body. Okay, cool. Now there can be a case that your booking expired. Right, sorry, your booking got failed. So we'll say if response dot status is equals to we'll say booking status dot failed or cancelled. I guess this is cancelled, right? So we are going to say error response body dot error. The payment failed due to some reason. Booking was not successful. Please try again. And we can say error response body dot data is equals to response, so that we can see what booking we got. And we can say we can have a 402 error. This is payment required. This is 402, right? And we can say return rest dot status dot payment required dot json error response body. We'll get the status from here. Okay, cool. So this was for booking expired or cancelled. In other case, booking will go successful, right? So we say otherwise booking will be successful. So we'll say success response body dot data is equals to response. Success response body dot message is equals to booking completed successfully. We're going to say return rest dot status dot ok dot json success response body. If there was some error that we caught, right, we are going to say if the error is having an error parameter, we are going to do error response body dot error is equals to error dot error, and we are going to return rest dot status error dot code dot json error response body. Otherwise there will be some internal server error that must have occurred. We are going to say return rest dot status dot internal server error dot json error response body. And before we actually send error response body, let's set the error parameter to be error. So I believe this create controller is good, and we are going to export this create controller, right? And now let us go to routes. We are going to make a new route, payment dot routes dot js. We are going to say const routes is equals to a function that is going to take the express app object. We are going to export this route, module.exports, this routes function. Okay, we are going to get the controller const payment controller we'll get the payment controller, and the API will look like app.post /mba/API/v1/payments, and we'll say payment controller.create. Now also we need to make sure that whenever someone is making a payment, they are authenticated. So we'll say auth middleware is equals to require /middleware/auth.middlewares, and we are going to say auth middlewares dot is authenticated. The user should be authenticated, right? Now the thing is, we are ready with the payment API. One very small thing that we should do is we need to validate the payment request body so that we are getting the booking ID and the, I would say, amount as well. Both of these things we should definitely get. So let's try. So we'll go to middlewares. We're going to write a new file, payment.middlewares.js. Okay. We're going to write a function const verify payment create request. This will get access to HTTP request object, HTTP response object, and the next middleware. Okay, we're going to first of all set validate booking ID presence. We are going to first check whether we have booking ID or not. So we'll say if not, request.body.booking ID. We are going to say error response body dot error is equals to no booking ID received, and we are going to say return res.status status.bad request .json error response body. Okay, and once we have this, we are going to also get the object ID so that we can validate it if it is a valid object ID. So we'll say object ID is equals to require mongoose dot types dot object ID, and we are going to say validate correct booking ID. We are going to say if not object ID dot is valid request dot body dot booking ID. We are going to say error response body dot error is equals to invalid booking ID, and we are going to say return res dot status dot bad request dot json error response body. Right, cool. We have already put a check about booking inside the controller, so that is the thing that will get checked there. Right, now whatever is the booking amount, we'll say if not request dot body dot amount, that is we have to validate amount presence. We'll say error response body dot error is equals to no amount sent. We'll say status dot bad request dot json error response body, and then we'll put one more check that the amount the user has sent should not be greater than the amount. So this logic should technically go in the service, right? So technically when we are going to create the payment, right, we will say if payment dot amount is greater than booking dot total cost. We are going to say payment dot status is equals to payment status dot failed. Right, this can be one simple logic through which we can fail the payment, and we can go back to the middleware. If everything is fine, we are going to just call the next middleware. Everything is fine, and we are going to export it. Verify payment create request. Now all we have to do, we have to go to payment routes. We have to get payment middlewares is equals to require middleware slash payment dot middleware, and we can say payment middlewares dot verify payment create request, and that's it. Now the last thing that we have to do is we have to register this route in index.js. We are going to get const payment routes is equals to require this should be dot slash route slash payment dot routes, and we're going to register it here, payment routes invoking payment routes, and that's it. So we have successfully completed the API for creation of the payment, right? We did definitely a long bit of coding here. In the next subsequent parts, we are going to even test this API. The overall logic, I believe, for writing the overall payment is clear to everyone. All we did was just wrote a bit of logic in the service, and this is the part where we are trying to actually mimic what a payment gateway would have done, right? After that, we are just consuming the service in the controller with all the cases and returning responses according to that. We registered our controller in the routes, we registered a middleware for verifying the request, and that's it. So I hope the overall logic of how we created the payment request is clear to everyone. So now we have built a lot of features around the movie booking app, and to be very honest, a lot of working functionality is already set up. We want to add one more feature to our movie booking application so that whenever a user creates is able to successfully make a payment and complete a booking, we want to send them a notification via email, right? So we want to build a notification service. So let's see what will happen. So let me open the notes. So what will happen is, currently we are having this movie booking service, right? This movie booking service is going to communicate to a new service that is going to be the notification service, right? So this movie booking service is a separate express app in itself. We can integrate front end, like we can have a front end that can make the API calls and get all of the functionalities. Similarly, this notification service is going to be a separate app in itself, separate express application in itself, and we will be able to make HTTP calls from one service to the other service and then get the corresponding work done, right? So this is going to be something like a microservice architecture. We are going to have kind of like an introduction to it, but definitely it is going to help us to understand a lot of concepts. So what we are going to do is we are going to set up a completely new Express project that is going to help us to set up a notification service, right? Let's first of all do that, and then maybe we can see how we can build the whole service. So let's make a new folder. Okay, let's initiate an Express app. So we can say npm init. We are going to have all of these details default, and now we are going to install, let's say, an Express server, right? So we'll say npm install Express. Okay, cool. Now let's do one thing. Let's open VS Code, a new window for VS Code. Let's click on open. Let's go to developer. and let's open notification service. Okay, so this is our notification service for us. Now let's set up our basic Express app. So we can write a new file, server.js. We can say index.js. Okay, let's just quickly set it up. So what we are going to say is we'll say const express is equals to require express. We're going to create an Express app, and we're going to say app.listen. Let's say we'll put the port as 3001, and we'll pass a callback, and we'll say console.log notification server started. Right. So this should be our basic Express app setup. If you will try to do node index.js, you can see we are able to boot up the server. Right. Now we have to do few things that are going to be configuration based. Right. We are going to install a bunch of packages that are going to help us. So let's just bring our terminal here. Let's install body parser. This body parser is going to help us to read the request body. Let's even require the body parser. We've required body parser. Okay. And now what we can do is we can configure the body parser by saying app.use body parser.json. I believe we have done all of these things previously also when we were setting up the movie booking app, so we can refer. If you are having any confusion, you can refer there. You can say body parser.url encoded, and we can say extended as true. So the body parser setup is done. Right. Now what we can do, we can set up .env. So we'll say npm install .env. Right. And we can create a new .env file. We can have the port as 3001. Okay, and here we can say, we'll say const env is equals to require .env, and we can call env.config. Let's call it here env.config. And now what we'll be able to do, we'll be able to say process.env.port. Okay, let's try again. Let's try to run the server again. The server started successfully, no issues. Now we are going to install nodemon, and we can go to package.json, and in the script we can write a start script. We can say nodemon index.js. Right. Now if you will do npm start, it is actually going to configure the server with nodemon, and whenever we are going to make any changes, it will automatically restart the server. So this is also something good. Right. Now apart from this, what we need to do, we need to set up mongoose. Right. So if you'll see our movie booking application, in our env we have db name, db url. Right. Let's copy this and let's go here and paste it. So this time the db should be notification db. I'm saying is as notidb. Okay, this should be the case. And let's try to set up the connection with mongoose. Right. So if you will see our index.js file, to set up the connection with mongoose, we say await mongoose.connect, and we pass the db url. Right. So let's do it. So let's install mongoose first. Let's set up the connection. We'll say this should be an asynchronous function, and we can say in a bunch of try catch. await let's require mongoose first. We can say await mongoose.connect process.env.db URL. Right. This will help us to connect to mongoose. You can see here as well. Right. And if we are able to successfully connect, let's just do console.log. Successfully connected to Mongo. Okay. Cool. Let's restart the app. And it says successfully connected to Mongo. So we are in connection with Mongo as well. Right. So this is something that is good. Right. If you'll refresh, currently you won't see any change, but once we will make any collection in the mongoose, we'll be able to see the collection listed out, the DB listed out. Let's just quickly set it up on GitHub. So we'll say git init. Basic notification service setup done. Okay, let's do one thing. I guess we didn't set up the git ignore file. Let's first do that. So we can say /node modules and the .env file. Both of them we don't want. Let's set up git again. Git init, git status, git add all, git commit -m. Right, now let's set up a new project on GitHub. We can say notification service, create repository. Let's add the remote origin. And let's say git push origin master. Okay, cool. So we have our notification service setup as well. Done. Cool. So we have the notifications basic server setup ready. Right, now we are going to build this notification service and later integrate it inside our feature. Right. So those things are going to come up in the next subsequent parts. So now we are going to set up our mailers, right? So in order to send email, Node gives us a very interesting package that is called as Node Mailer. You can search for Node Mailer on npm, right? It's quite an interesting package, and it helps us to set up most of the things very easily, right? So we'll just install Node Mailer. And Node Mailer is installed. Let's just start the server. Okay. Now what we are going to do, we are going to build a new folder which we are going to call as services. And inside the services, we are going to have a new file that is email.service.js. Okay, we are going to set up an email service. In the email service, we are going to write the logic that can help us to send emails. So we're going to say const node mailer is equals to require node mailer. Okay, so this will help us to require the node mailer, right? And we can just create a transport object. I'll tell you about what is this transport object. We can say node mailer dot create transport. Okay, so there is a function create transport that can help us to create a transport object, right? What is this transport object? Let me show you. So if you'll go to the documentation, okay, so whenever you set up node mailer, what you have to do, you have to set up a transport object. It is a reusable object that that has the default SMTP configurations, right? This is something that you have to make sure that you always set up. Technically, you can say that this is an object that is going to store all of your SMTP setting. SMTP is simple mail transport protocol. This is going to help you to send emails over the network, right? This just like how HTTP helps you to send hypertext. This is going to help you to send emails. So you have to just set up a I would say transport object, right? And in this transport object, you have to just set up all of your SMTP settings. We'll see what SMTP we have to use, right? And then we can just try to do send emails like this, right? So let's just first set up this transport object, and then maybe we can see what can be the configurations that we have to do. So this transport object takes a transport function, create transport function takes an object parameter, and inside this object parameter we have to send all of the SMTP configurations. In order to set up the emails, I have created a new Gmail account, right? You can see here the name of the account is notification service. You might use your own personal account, or I would recommend, because you are here for learning purpose, you can create a new Gmail account, right, for testing it out. In your notification service, what you have to do, you have to like just open your myaccount.google.com, right? This type of page will occur. Just go to security. In your security, you have to do two things. The first thing that you have to do is you have to turn on the two-step verification, right? So I'll just quickly swipe it out of the screen and set up the two-step verification. All you have to do is just put your phone number and it will give you an OTP password. Let me just quickly do that. So it's asking to me for my verification code. You'll get a verification code as an like text message on your phone, registered phone number, right? Once you have done this, you'll get something like this, that do you want to turn on the two-step verification? You can click on turn on, right? And your two-step verification will get turned on. Okay, now you have to go back. Once you go back, and once you again go to security, now you will see an option of app passwords, right? This option of app passwords. Now when we are setting up our node mirror, you can see here they have put a username and a password. You don't have to put your original email ID's password. Instead, we are going to generate an app password for that. So just click on app passwords. It's going to ask me for my password. Remember, this is not the this is your email password that you are going to enter here. Whereas in your transporter, you don't have to put your email password. Instead, you are going to set up a new app password. Just click on next. And now it is going to ask you to set up an app password. You're going to select an app. So we need to set up a password for mail. You can select a device. Now it's not a physical device, so we'll click on other. And you have to just put a name. So you can say notification service, right? And what you can do, you can click on generate. Once you click on generate, it is going to generate a new app password for you, right? So I'll click on generate. And you can see it is going to give me a secret app password. Don't worry, you won't be able to use it, because by the time you will watch the video, I'll just delete this password. But this is going to be a 16-digit password, right? Or 16-character password. All you have to do, just save this password somewhere. So the best place to save this password is going to be your .env file. So we can say email password equals to this 16-digit password. And let's also put your email. So our email you can fetch from here. So just click on done, and the email you can get from here. Copy and paste it here, right? Movie booking app service @gmail.com. Cool. So we have set it up here. Now all we have to do is now set up our transporter. So now you can set up the transporter. You can say service is going to be Gmail, right? And for authentication, you have to pass a user and a password. So the user is going to be process.env.email, and the password is going to be process.env.email password, right? We need to require env, so we'll say const env is equals to require dot env, and we are going to say env.config. So we have our environment variables ready. Now we have this transporter object with us. Now let's do one thing. Let's try to call this transporter object. So we can say transport.sendMail, right? And inside an object, you can put from. So you can say from mba@support.com to, you can put any email ID for to. For the timing, let's put our this email ID only. You can send email to the same email ID as well, right? To can be this. Subject can be test email for node mailer, and let's say the text can be, hey, this is a test email. Okay, now what you can do, you can just run this file. So I'm already inside services folder. Let's try to run this file. Okay, it throws an error. Let's see. Okay, it's not able to get the credentials. Let's see why. Let's see what are we getting in console.log. process.env.email and process.env.email pass. Let's see. Okay, we are getting undefined. We are not getting it. So let's see what's the issue. Okay, so the problem here is actually we are calling the .env file, but this email service file is inside the services folder, and we don't have a .env file inside the services folder, so it checks the same directory. So let's do one thing. Let's not call transport object here. Instead, let's just export this object, module.exports. Let's export this transport object. And in the index.js file, once we start our server, let's try to send an email from here. And we can say cool, I believe. Let's just get our transport object. So const transport is equals to require dot slash services slash email dot service. Okay, let's try now. Let's do npm start. Okay, it's still not able to get it. So we can even do one more thing, because we just want to test it. So let's write a function here, const send mail, and inside that function we can call this send mail object in the transport object, and let's create the transport object here only. Okay, let's create the transport object here, and we will get the user ID and password as the parameter. Let's pass user ID here and password here, and let's export the send mail function. Okay, now we will actually get a send mail function here, which we can just call with the email is going to be process.env.email, and password is going to be process.env.email pass I guess. Okay, cool. So let's just try it now. um, you can see it successfully sent it, and if we can open our email, so let's open Gmail here. Okay, you can see we have received the test email now, right? If you want to make any changes to the test email, testing another email, and we just save it, it is going to restart. And if I go back here again, you can see another email has been received. So we are able to successfully send emails now, right? So this send email function we can just use, this email services send email function we can use, right? So this is the demo that I wanted to show you, that the email service is now working. Now all we have to do is we need to have this from to subject and text. We will bind it inside a good mailing format so that the user can just like our app can just at any point of time send the from to subject and text, and this transport.send email function can be used there, right? So this is going to be interesting. So let's just wrap up this part here. From the next set of parts we are going to continue our discussion on the emailer part and integrate this email with the other services. Now we have our email configurations ready with us. Let's just quickly commit this, right? Added node mailer config. Cool. Now what we have to do is we will be setting up models. Now you might be thinking, why do we need to set up models? So we are going to set up a ticket model. What this ticket model is actually going to do. So now what will happen is, sending email is kind of like a time consuming thing, right? Whenever a person will be making a booking, after they have made a booking, we want to send them email. Now this can like, depending on how fast is your email service and how many emails you have in queues, this can take some time. Let's say this email is going to take 30 seconds to be sent, right? So we don't want to block our user that on a loader page, that till the time it is sending an email, it is still loading. What we want is, we will be creating a booking and we will be sending a request to the send mail, right? This is going to be an asynchronous request, and we are going to show the user about the details of their booking. After like 30 odd second or 40 odd second, they will also receive an email confirmation. You must have seen a similar thing happening with you whenever you place an order on an e-commerce app or make a booking on a movie booking app, something like this, right? So we are also going to follow these kind of structure. Now what will happen is, we don't want our service to like keep on sending mails again and again. So what we are going to do is, we are going to just set up a database. We're going to set up a DB. In that DB, we are going to have one collection. We are going to have one single collection. That collection is going to have the details of the recipient, that how many recipients we have to send the email to, what is the email text, what is the email subject, right? So this kind of a model we are going to create, and we are going to set up a mechanism. We are going to set up a mechanism using which, in every 30 seconds, or let's say every minute, we are going to check our database for all the emails that have not been sent yet. And after every minute, we will check what all mails are there which are not yet sent. We are going to send those emails, and we are going to set the status of those emails as sent. So we are also going to keep a status. This kind of a mechanism we want to build. So if we talk about how the database is going to look like, in the database we are going to have a property subject. We are going to have a property ticket ID. This ticket ID is going to uniquely identify an email ticket, right? That whatever email we have, we are going to refer it as a ticket. We are going to have the email content. We are going to have recipient details, right? We will be having a status that is going to determine what is the status of our ticket, whether it is pending, or it is sent, or it is cancelled. We are going to have the, let's say, created at. We are going to have updated at, right? These details we are going to have, and using this we are going to make different documents in our collection, right? Let's say we get simultaneously 5 requests to send email, so we'll be having 5 documents with the status pending. Now after every minute, or let's say after every 5 minutes, whatever configuration you want to make, we'll see how to make this configuration. Every minute, every 5 minutes, we can just scan our database, filter out all the tickets which are having a status pending. We are going to make a request to send emails for them and then update the status for them. This is something that we are going to do. Now how we will be setting up this mechanism that can at every minute, after every minute, check our database for mails or something. So there is a concept of cron jobs. There is a concept of cron jobs. What crons are? Crons, you can say, are process that runs in your machine regularly at regular interval, and you can configure cron. You can configure that after every 10 minutes you want to execute some process, you want to execute some algorithm. After every 5 minutes, after every 30 seconds, after every 2 seconds, you want to do something again and again, again and again. So whenever you have to, like, let's say you must have seen a lot of applications that they every day at 10 a.m. in the morning send you a push notification or send you an email. That's a cron. That every day at 10 a.m. in the morning they execute some process, right? So this thing is done by crons, right? This thing is done by crons. Now how can you configure crons? In every system there is a dedicated cron job file. You can edit that cron job file, but fortunately for Node we have a package called as node cron. Let me show you about that, show you that package, node cron. This node cron package will help us to configure crons very easily. We can just install this package, and at any point of time we can just require the package, and if we want to schedule a task, all we have to do is just give the corresponding details about for what day, what month, what year, what hour, what second you have to do. So you can see every star represents something. So the first star represents second, second star represent minute, third star represent hour, fourth star represent day of the month, this represents the month, and this represents day of the week, right? So you can have configurations like this. So let's say uh, if you want to do something every 2 minutes, you can just do this, that star by 2. Star means every minute and by 2 means every, after every 2 minutes, right? So you can read about how these cron values work, right? You can even give short names like these, right? So that if for every January, September, and Sunday, kind of like this, something is going to be running. So these processes are going to help us, and cron job is going to be definitely a very interesting thing to explore of, right? So from the next part, we are going to see that how we can configure this cron. First of all, we are going to configure the database model. We are going to set up an API so that we can hit that model, and then from other service we will be just hitting that model, like hitting that API, and things will be done. Now we are going to start building our model so that we can have our ticket notification system. So we'll make a new folder, models. Inside the model folder, I'm going to make a new file that is going to be ticket notification.js. We need to require mongoose. Okay. And we are going to create a ticket notification schema. Is equals to new mongoose dot schema, right? The properties can be, there will be a subject, the type is going to be a string, and required is going to be true. Okay. And we are going to have a, let's say, content that is going to be, type is going to be string, required is going to be true, and then we are going to have recipient emails, right? This is going to be an array of strings because we can send, like, let's say many emails, string, and required is going to be true, and then we can have status, which can be of type string, and we can define a enum value. So if you want to see how we define enum values, we have already done it previously. You can see we can just say type string, and then we can define enum with values and message. So we can define enum with values as, let's say, success, failed, or pending. Okay, and message is going to be invalid emails, invalid ticket status, in case if we have to show invalid message, and required as true. Cool. Now we can have created at and updated at. For that we can just say timestamps as true. Now we'll create a model, so we'll say ticket notification model is equals to mongoose dot model. We'll say ticket notification, and we'll pass ticket notification schema. At last we are going to say module dot exports ticket notification model. Right, we are going to export this. So this model is ready with us. We have successfully created this model. Looks fine. Let's just quickly commit this. Added ticket model. Okay. Okay, sorry, I guess we did a mistake there. Okay, now we have pushed it to the master. So our model is ready, and our basic emailer setup is also ready. Now let's try to build up a controller. In the controller, we are going to actually get the request to create a ticket, and then we are going to list down all the tickets, multiple things we can do. So we are going to prepare two APIs. Let's just first of all talk about both of the APIs that we are going to have. So let's just quickly open QuickTime Player. Okay, just wait for a minute. Let me just open QuickTime. Till that time, we can just create few folder structure for us. We can create a controller folder. We can create routes for us, not inside controller, outside controller. Okay, and we can also create a folder for cron, I believe. So let's say crons. Cool. And in the routes, let's create a new file, ticket.routes.js. In the controller, let's create a new file, ticket.controller.js. Let's open the notes again. Okay, cool. So we are going to build up two APIs, right? These two APIs are going to be important for us. So the first API that we are going to build is going to create a ticket, like it's going to submit a new notification request for us. So API to submit submit new notification email request. Right, this is going to be our first API. So we will say the route of the API will look something like this, that is slash notifications slash API slash v1 slash let's do something like this. We can say slash noti service slash notifications. Because we want to create a notification, then the type of the request is going to be a post request. In the request body, we are going to expect things like subject of the notification. We are going to expect the content of the notification. We are going to expect, let's say, recipients, right? These things we are going to accept in the request body. For the response, we are going to have a success parameter that is going to tell us whether the API successfully completed itself or not. An error parameter which will be having error details if there was any error that we encountered during the execution of the API. Otherwise, it will be an empty object. There will be a data parameter and a message parameter. Data parameter will be an empty object if there was some error that encountered during the execution of the request and we are not able to complete the request. Otherwise, this data parameter is going to have the details of the data that is going to be returned by the API. The message parameter is a custom messaging parameter. It's going to be used to write custom messages based on the fact that whether we encountered any error during the execution of the API, or we encountered any success, or we encountered success that everything went fine. Based on that, this message property is going to change its string. So this is going to be the overall, I would say, API configuration, right? It's going to be the overall API signature. So we can try to just quickly build it. So we can say, let's go to services. Let's create a new service. We can say notification.service.js. We can say const, let's get the ticket model, is equals to require dot slash models slash ticket notification, and we can say module dot exports. Let's have a new function const create is equals to async. We are going to have a data property, right? Let's wrap it inside a bunch of try catch. Okay, we'll say const ticket is equals to await ticket dot create, and we are going to pass the data property. So once we have created this ticket, we can say if due to any reason, for the timing, let's just return ticket. Okay, we are going to return this response. That makes sense. Okay, now from the error we can just throw the error from here, right? And let's see if we need to do anything else. We will check for some validation errors as well. So we'll say if error dot name is validation error, we are going to check for the validation errors. We have already done this exercise quite some time now. So we'll create a custom error object. We are going to iterate using object.keys on error.errors parameter. This will give us the keys in the form of an array on which we can apply a for each. We'll iterate over each key, and we'll say error of that key is equals to error.errors of key.message. We have done this exercise quite some time for now. We are going to throw this error. The code is going to be, we can say 400 bad request, or it should be the unprocessable entity, right? So let's just quickly check. It was 421, I guess. Unprocessable entity 422. The error code is 422. Okay, cool. And now what we can do, we can just export the create function. I can see we are hard coding this error code. Let's do one thing. Let's quickly just create a utils folder. Utils. In the utils folder, we are going to make a file constants. In the constants file, let's make a status constant object. We can say, let's bring the status from our previous service only. So all of these status code we are going to bring. And we can say module.exports status. In the notification service, we can say const status is equals to require. We'll go to utils / constants. And for 422, instead of writing 422, we'll say status dot unprocessable entity. Okay, cool. So the service is ready for us. Now let's go to controller. In the controller, we'll get the service. So notification service. Go to services / notification.service. We'll say const create notification or create ticket. It should be a asynchronous method which will have access to the HTTP request object, HTTP response object. We'll bind it inside a bunch of try catch again. We'll say if the error is having a custom error parameter, then we should do one more thing. Let's bring our constants around response body. So let's bring all of this. Okay, error and success response body we are going to bring. We'll say const require utils / response body, and we can say success response body and error response body. We'll bring both of them, and we'll say error response body dot error is equals to error dot error, and we'll say return rest dot status error dot code dot JSON error response body. Otherwise, we will get the status constant status. We can say utils / constants. We'll say error response body dot error is equals to error, and we'll say return rest dot status dot internal server error dot JSON error response body, and we'll say const response from here is equals to await notification service dot create, and we are going to pass the details with the request dot body. Once we have it, we can say so we can set up the success response body. Equals to response success response body dot message is equals to successfully created a notification ticket, and we can say return rest dot status dot ok dot json success response body. Right, this thing can be done. Okay, now we can just export this create ticket. Right, we can just export this method. Okay, and now if we'll go to the routes, let's set up the route. So we'll say const notification controller is equals to require dot dot slash controllers slash notification slash ticket dot controller. We're going to say const routes is equals to, it will take the express app object. We'll say module dot exports routes. We're going to say app dot post slash noti service slash API slash v1 slash notification, and we can say notification controller dot create ticket. Okay, cool. Now one more thing that we have to do, we need to add validation to the request that we are getting, that we have subject or not, content or not, and all of these things. So if you'll see the models, we need to validate subject, content, recipient, emails, and status. Status we don't need because it is going to have some default value, I believe. You can put a default value here. Default value is going to be pending. Okay, so let's make a new folder, middlewares. I'm going to have a new file, ticket.middlewares.js. We'll say const verify ticket notification create request. Okay, we're going to have access to the HTTP request object, HTTP response object, and the next middleware. We're going to say if not request.body.subject. Right, that means the subject is missing. So we'll say const require utils slash response body, and we can say success response body and error response body. So we can say error response body dot error is equals to no subject given for the email, and we can say return res dot status dot bad request dot json error response body. Right, and we can say if not request dot body dot content error response body dot error is equals to no content given for the email. Return res dot status dot bad request dot json error response body. And if you will carefully see the previous middlewares, so in the movie middleware we had an array which was like array of the casts. So this kind of a request we made, right? We check whether we have a cast or not, it is an instance of array or not, and the length should not be less than equal to 0. So let's see, we'll say if not request dot body dot recipients, let's check the spelling, recipient emails, or not request dot body dot recipient email instance of array, or not, or request dot body dot recipient emails dot length is less than equal to 0. In all of these cases we are going to say error response body dot error, no recipient emails given, return rest dot status, and we can say status dot bad request dot json error response body. And if everything went fine, we are just going to call the next middleware. Let's export it. And in the ticket routes, let's go and get const ticket middlewares dot slash middlewares slash ticket dot middlewares, and we'll say ticket middlewares dot let's see, there is some issue, I guess. This should be module dot exports. Dot verify this request, and things looks good. Let's do npm start. Okay, let's try to make a request. So this is http localhost 3001 slash noti service slash api slash un slash notifications. We'll say subject, it's a testing subject, content, this is an email from noti service, recipient emails. Let's do one thing, let's form it in the raw form, otherwise it might not work for emails. So subject testing email, like we have to pass an array, right? We cannot pass just directly array there, it creates problems. So let's just do this, content testing email content given, recipient emails this will be an array, and let's say the email that we can give is let's take our own email, @gmail.com. I'll take one more email, cs191297 @gmail.com. Okay, and I believe this should be good, right? If you send the request, it says 404 not found. Let's see the routes. Notifications, Server is up and running at 3001. Okay, I know my mistake. Again, almost a similar thing. We need to register the route here. So we'll say const ticket routes is equals to require dot slash routes slash ticket dot routes, and we can say ticket routes, and we'll call the app. Okay, now let's send the request. Okay, it throws an error. Okay, let's go to middlewares. Okay, it's not able to read the request body. Let's see. Let's do one thing. Before we register the routes, we will set up the body parser. Let's just not send the mail now, and send the request, and you are able to create the data. Let's go to MongoDB Compass. Let's refresh, and you have a NotiDB. Inside the NotiDB, you have a collection ticket notifications, and we have a ticket notification. So now we are able to get the ticket notification. In the further upcoming set of parts, we are going to set up an API to get all the ticket notifications, and we'll also set up the cron so that it will read all the ticket notification with the pending state, update their state, and send the email. We have completed our create API, right? We can just quickly commit this. Added notification create ticket API. Right. Cool. So I believe this is done. Now what we have to do is we have to write an API so that we can even get all the notifications, whatever we have written, right? We can write two APIs, which is one can be to get a particular notification detail, that is one particular email detail, and one can be to get all the email details. So let's just see what can be the signature of both of them together. Okay, so we are going to write an API to get the details of all the notifications we have registered. This is again going to be a simple CRUD, right? If we talk about the route of the API, it can be slash notiservice slash API slash v1 slash notifications, right? And the type of the request can be a get request. In the request body, we are not going to send anything, so the request body is going to be empty. In the response body, we are going to have a success parameter. This is going to tell us whether the API successfully completed itself or not. We are going to have an error parameter, that is going to be an empty object if there was any error, otherwise it is going to have the error details. We are going to have a data parameter, which is going to be an empty object if there was some error, otherwise it will be having the data that we want to return, that is the list of all the notifications we have registered. And a custom message property that is going to have a custom message based on the fact that whether the API was successful or not. This is going to be the first API that is going to list down all the notifications we have registered till now. We are going to have another API. We'll write an API to get details of a particular notification ticket. right, based on ticket ID. So what will happen is the route will look something like this: slash notice service slash API slash v1 slash I would say notifications slash colon ID. This ID is going to be the notification ticket ID. Based on this, we are going to uniquely identify a notification and we are going to just return the details of that notification. The type of the request is going to be a GET request. The request body is going to be empty. We don't need anything in the request body. And the response body, we are going to have a success parameter in the response body. We are going to have a error parameter, a data parameter, and a message parameter. This error parameter is going to define again the error if we encountered any error during the execution, otherwise it will be an empty object. Data parameter is going to define the data that you want to return, that is a detail of a particular notification. If we encounter any error, it will be an empty object. Message is going to be a custom messaging parameter based on which we can determine what message to show to the user. So these are all the details of both the APIs that we have to register. So this is going to be the signature that we are going to follow. Now let's just start building both of these APIs step by step. So we can go to services. We can create a in the notification.service file, we can write a method const get all that is going to return all the notifications for us. It's going to be an asynchronous method. It is not going to take any parameter. We'll bind it inside a bunch of try catch and we're just going to throw the error. This is going to be simple. We'll just say const response is equals to await okay, 1 second. Yep, await ticket dot find. It is going to return us all the tickets and we are going to return the response. That's it. Okay, and then we are going to have a function const get by ID. We're going to pass an ID, and based on this ID we want to determine what is the detail of notification. So we'll again bind it inside a bunch of try catch. We'll throw the error. We'll say const response is equals to await ticket dot find by ID. We'll pass the ID and we'll return the response. But before we return the response, we have to check if there was no response received based on the ID. We are going to throw an error saying that no ticket details found, and the code is going to be status dot not found. Okay, so this is going to be the case, and these are the two service functions that we can just directly have. Let's export both of these service functions. We'll say get all and get by ID. Okay, now let's go to the controller. We'll write a controller. We'll say const get all tickets. It will be an asynchronous function. It will get the access to the HTTP request object, HTTP response object, and we are going to say again in a bunch of try catch. If there was any error, we'll bind it inside the error response body. And we are going to say return rest.status status dot internal server error dot json error response body, and here we are going to say const response is equals to await notification service dot get all. We're going to say success response body dot data is equals to response success response body dot message is equals to successfully fetched all the tickets, and at last we are going to say return rest.status status.ok dot json success response body. And here when we are creating the ticket, it should not be okay, it should be status.created. So this get all tickets function is ready for us. Let's just export it, and we can write one more function, const get ticket. We'll say request or comma response access it will be having. Again, we'll bind it inside a bunch of try catch. Okay, we'll check this time. If we have a custom error parameter, we are going to just bind it inside error response body dot error is equals to error dot error. Okay, and we are going to say return rest dot status. The code we are already going to get inside the error object only, so we'll say error dot code dot json error response body. Okay, and if that's not the case, it will be an internal server error, so we'll just bind it directly inside error response body dot error is equals to the error object, and we are going to say return rest dot status status dot internal server error dot json error response body. Otherwise, we are going to say const response is equals to await notification service dot get by id, and the id we are going to get inside the request params, so we'll say request dot params dot id. We'll say success response body dot data is equals to response success response body dot message successfully fetched details of the given ticket ID, and we are going to say return rest dot status. Status is going to be 200 OK dot json. This will be success response body, and I believe we should just export it, get ticket. Now all we need to do is go to the ticket routes. We'll register both the routes. We'll say app.get / noti service / API / v1 / notifications / ID. This is going to be the one that is going to fetch based on ID. We'll say notification controller dot get ticket. Okay, and apart from this, we are going to have one more API slash notification service slash API slash v1 slash notifications, and we'll say notification controller dot get all tickets. Okay, so in the ticket.routes.js we have registered one more route. Let's run the server. Okay, so server is running now. Let's make a get request. Let's remove all of this from the body. Let's make a get request to get all the notifications. So you can see now we are getting an array of notification. There was only one notification, right? And let's say if we get the ID, slash ID, and if we send it, now we are getting a particular notification details as well. So things look fine, and as we have tested them as well, they are working fine. Let's just quickly commit this. Okay, so we have successfully pushed the code as well, right? Now in the further upcoming set of parts, what we are going to do, we are having this notification service ready with us. Now what we have to do is we have to set up a cron in this notification service, so that this cron is going to parse the database, let's say every 30 seconds or every minute or every 2 minutes, and whatever notification tickets we have received which are in pending state, pick them up, take their recipient's email and send an email from there and update the ticket status. This is going to be something that we are going to do in the further upcoming set of parts. That is going to take significant amount of time, and by that, once we have our cron ready, then we are going to see how our MBA service, that is the movie booking app service, is going to communicate to the notification service. It's just going to make a simple HTTP call, nothing much. So we are going to see how can we do that in the further upcoming set of parts. Okay, so now let's just see what we have to do further. So technically, if we have to get all the payments made by a user, in the payments model, if you will carefully see the payments model, we don't have a direct reference to user ID, but we have a reference to the booking. So first of all, if you will go to booking model, in the booking model, we have a reference to the user ID. So for the current user, we have to get all the bookings. Based on all the bookings, we have to get all the payments. That is something that we have to do, right? So let's go to payment service. Currently we'll try to get the user. So we have the user ID. Technically I believe we don't even need to get the user, but let's see, we'll figure out. First of all, we need to get all the bookings for a particular user, right? So we have made this filter object, and if the user role is not admin, then we have to put the user ID as user.id, and we are going to fetch the bookings. So we'll say const bookings is equals to await. Let's get the booking model also, it's already there. Booking dot find, will pass a custom object where user ID is user.id, or we can pass the filter object directly. Okay, so this filter object we have passed, right? And based on this, we are going to get all the bookings, right? Now technically we don't even need the whole booking details, because if you'll just call this function, it is going to return you all the booking with all the properties, right? We should technically just get the booking ID, right? So we are going to just get the ID parameter, right? We'll just pass the ID parameter. Okay, let's see. Now once we have all the ID parameters in the array, it will be an array. Now we are going to fetch the payments. So we are going to say const payments is equals to await payment dot find, and we are going to say the booking is going to be, we'll pass a custom object which is going to have in operator in bookings. Okay, this should be a object as well. Cool. So in the booking property, we are going to say whatever booking IDs are there in the given bookings array, we are going to filter all the payments based on that, and we are going to return the payments. Okay, we're going to return the payments. Cool. Let's export this function. There might be some issues. We'll just debug it once we have the whole API setup done. Get all payments. Now let's go to payment controller. We'll say const get all payments. It will be an asynchronous function. It will have the request object, response object. We'll bind it inside a bunch of try catch, and here we are going to first of all say error response body dot error is equals to the error parameter, and we are going to return rest dot status internal server error. Dot JSON error response body. Otherwise, we are going to say const response is equals to await payment service dot get all payments, and we are going to pass request dot user object. Okay, cool. This will be the user ID of the authenticated user. Then we are going to say success response body is equals to dot data is equals to response success response body dot message successfully fetched all the information, all the payments, and we are going to say return rest dot status. Status is going to be 200 OK dot JSON success response body, and we are going to export get all payments. Now we'll go to routes, the payment routes. We're going to say app.get /mba/api/v1/payments/all. We're going to authenticate the request as well. Auth middlewares dot is authenticated, and then we are going to say payment controller dot get all payments. Cool. So our routes are ready as well. Let's see if the server is running. Yes, the server is running fine. Let's open Postman and MongoDB Campus. Let's first try to authenticate ourselves. So it will be a post request on /auth/sign-in. Okay. And let's send the email ID and password. Current user is going to be an admin. So this is an admin user. Or maybe we can try with someone who is not an admin. Okay, let's try with deepak@mba.com. Okay, and this is the password. Let's send. Okay, let's sign up. I guess I forgot the password probably. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. This is the password. Okay, let's copy the header and let's paste it. Okay, now for Deepak currently we don't have any bookings, so let's create a booking. So /bookings, theater ID, movie ID, timing, number of seats, total cost. I believe this should be good. Send. So we have a booking in process. Let's take this booking ID and let's try to make a payment / payments, send the request. Okay, so the payment is successful. Now for debug we have one corresponding payment with us. Let's make another booking and make another payment. Okay, in progress, and this is the booking ID. Okay, so now we have two bookings. Now let's try to get all the bookings for this particular user / payment / all, right? All payment details for this user. It should be a get request. If you send it, okay, so there is some error that we are getting. Cool. Let's see what is the error and how can we resolve it. Okay, so let's see what is the issue that we are encountering. Okay, so it's not able to take object ID. Let's see. Let's go to service file and let's print what all we are getting. Let's see the filter object here and let's see what we are getting in bookings. Okay, so technically we are not even able to get the filter object. Let's see, are we okay? So we don't have the user model. That was the first mistake. So let's get the user model. Okay, so now we have the user model. Let's try again. Okay, let's see. Let's even try to print the user model. Okay, I got it. I guess I got the issue. So the problem currently is this one, right? We should not do /all because we can just do /payments because all is going to get inside this ID and actually this controller is getting hit. We should do just payments. That should be the REST convention to get all the payments. Now if you send it, okay, now it says something went wrong. Cool. So we are getting the user object. We are creating the filter object as well. Right, let's see. In the filter object, it should be filter.user ID. Okay, this should be the case first of all. Okay, so now we are getting the user ID as this, user object as this. We are not getting the bookings. So let's see. If we remove the filter, now we are getting the bookings also. Okay, from this booking we need to fetch the ID. So I guess we can do something like this. Okay, this is not getting response. Let's see. Okay, I believe we can just say ID here. Cool. So now if you will see bookings, now we are just getting the booking IDs, right? So the syntax, so we were making a syntactical mistake. Now we have all the bookings. Now let's see what are the payments that we are getting. Console.log payments. There should be technically 2 payments for this user. Let's send the request. And we are getting 2 payments as well. And in the response also we are getting both the payments. So we are getting everything successfully. That looks good. Let's remove all the console.logs. We don't need them now. Cool. And that should be it. That should be it. Let's just quickly commit this. Okay, so we have pushed this code as well. Now we need to make one small change. Actually, in the booking model, if you will carefully see, in the show model, we have total number of seats, right? We have total number of seats, and in the booking model, we are reserving some number of seats, right? In the show model, we have a price, and in the booking model, we have a total cost, right? So the price of the show is per seat basis. So however number of seats you are getting, your total cost should automatically get populated, right? We should not send it the number of seats that we want to book. The total cost should automatically get populated from the show model. So this is something that we need to probably do, right? So let's see if we have any show details. We go to shows. Okay, you can see price and number of seats available, right? So whenever we will make a booking, we will reduce the number of seats because that's the number of seats are lesser remaining, and we will get the price directly from here. So let's go to where we are making the bookings, that is booking service, create booking, right? So for creating the booking data, we need to also get the show. So we'll say const show is equals to await. Let's get the show model. Show dot find, and we are going to say movie id is data dot movie id, and theater id is data dot theater id. Using these two parameters, we will be able to uniquely identify a show. Let's see the model again. Yes, using these two parameters, we'll be able to identify, and based on the timings also, let's send the timings also. Timing is data dot timing. Okay, cool. Cool. So now based on the show, we will set the price. We don't need to send the price from there. We will say data dot in the booking model, we have a total cost, right? So data dot total cost is equals to data dot number of seats multiplied by show dot price. This will be the total cost. Okay, and once you create the booking, we will say show dot, now in the show also we have number of seats, right? That's the available number of seats in the show. We are going to reduce it by data dot number of seats, and we'll say await show dot save. Okay, and technically this should be good. This should be good. So now let's try to create a new booking. Let's try to create a new booking. We'll pass theater id, movie id, timing, number of seats. We don't need to pass total number of costs, right? It will automatically get from the show. Okay, let's see if we have a show for this or not. Let's take this show detail only. This is the theater id, this is the movie id. Cool. Let's make a post request to slash bookings send. Okay, is the server not running? Okay, let's see what is the issue. Okay, we are getting no theater found for the given ID. Let's see booking controller. Interesting. In the booking controller, let's say we say console.log request.body. Okay, we're not even printing request body. Okay, are we making a mistake? It should be /API/v1/bookings. Okay. Let's restart the server once. Okay, let's see where it went. It's trying to find the theater, no theater found. So let's see what path are we tracing. Let's go to booking.routes. It's a post request, right? Okay, so from here only we are returning, I guess. Request.body.theater ID. I guess we are returning from the validator only. Request.body. Let's see. Okay, yes, we are returning from there only. Let's see. This theater ID we are not able to find. Interesting. 7E3. This is probably the theater ID. Okay, in that theater we don't have a movie. Okay, let's create a show. I believe we have wrong show details. So let's try to create a show. That can be something that we can do. So /API/event/shows. Okay, let's create a show. And let's go to show model. We need theater ID, movie ID. So let's get one. Let's get this theater ID. Then let's get this movie ID. Let's say timings. Are this. Okay. Number of seats, let's say we have 300. And I guess there is a price parameter. Price, or we can even send price here. Price of every seat, let's say, is 350. Okay, cool. Let's create a show. Okay, we need to send it via an admin only. Let's do an admin login. Let's send the correct password. Okay, this is the admin token we have received. Okay, Now let's go back again. Let's create shows. Send. Okay, so we have a show created. That's good. Now let's try to create a booking for this Deepak user. Okay. Now when you want to make bookings, we will say theater ID, movie ID. This is the timing, and we need, let's say, 3 seats. Okay. If you send it, okay, so total cost we are not able to. Okay, let's see. So now we are having issue with the logic. Booking service. So data dot total cost is data dot number of seats into show dot price. Okay. Let's see. Console.log show dot price comma data dot number of seats. Let's see what are we actually getting. Okay, number of seats we are getting. Show dot price we are not getting. Okay, so let's see what else do we get a show. Console.log show. I guess we are not able to fetch the show. Okay, we have the show details. Okay, so it's an array. It's an array, right? So we'll say find one. I believe this should work now. Let's send. Okay, now we are able to make the booking, and the price you can see automatically took 1050. Let's now just quickly send the booking ID and make a payment. And let's say we want to make a payment of 1000. Okay, this should not go through. Cancelled, right? Now if we will make a payment of 1050 for the same booking ID, now it's successful. So technically we are able to fetch these details as well. And now technically if you see the shows, let's refresh, you can see 3 seats are booked. If 3 seats are booked, then we have 297 as the number of seats. Now the thing is, if booking stands cancelled, right? If let's say even after some time in the payment service, you can see, right? If you are not able to make the payment because booking is now expired, then we should give back the number of seats, right? This is something that we can do. Or maybe when the payment is successful, then only maybe we can reduce the number of seats. That is a better logic that we can have. So let's say let's not do removal of seats from here. Let's go to payment service, and even let's get the shows. So const show is equals to await. Let's get the show model. And from the booking, we'll say show dot find one. Movie ID is booking dot movie ID. Theater ID is booking dot theater ID. Timing is booking dot timing. Now we got the show details. Once the payment is successful, we can say show dot number of seats minus equals to booking dot number of seats, and we'll also say await show dot save. Cool. This should be a better way to go for, right? And let's go to booking service. We can remove this. Okay, cool. Let's remove this console.log as well. Now, let's now try to make a new booking. We have 297 seats left. Let's book for 3 more seats. Okay, so let's create a booking in progress. Let's take this booking ID. Now if you will see, the show must not be having reduced number of seats. You can see it's still 297. Once you will make the payment, okay, this is slash payments. Let's make the payment. Okay, the payment is successful. Now if you will see, the number of seats has reduced. So this is also working fine, right? Okay, now I believe in the show service we have get show, right? Cool. I believe this should be fine, and let's just quickly commit this. Added seat reduction logic and price calculation logic, and that's it. So we have made quite good progress around the bookings and the show details and the payments that we have to make, right? After this, we want to actually see that once the user has successfully made a payment, the user should be able to get some notification around it. We are going to discuss about how notifications we are going to integrate, and we are going to create a new service for notification so that you can also get a taste of how exactly microservice architecture is built up, because notification service we are going to build as a separate service. It will be a separate Express app. So we'll talk about it in the further upcoming set of parts.